Housing, man. Housing.
Oh, it's a good one. Are you saving up for a house?
Yeah.
Are you saving up for a house?
I just let it go for now.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. Look.
Well, look, this is not a really fun topic, but let's talk about it.
No,
It's a depressing
It's a depressing topic, but everyone will correlate. So what's your plan?
What's my plan?
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know, man. Like, hey, stop recording, bro.
No. Okay, don't do it personally.
Okay,
Do you think it'll get better or worse? Prices.
So has it
Depending on
started?
who you talk to, I've got mixed answers.
Let's make it interesting. What's your dream house look like?
My dream house. Oh, mate. I'd say a two story next to right. I wouldn't say right next to the beach, but in close proximity to the
Really?
beach. Because my at least my thoughts on it is now that in Port Adelaide, you know, in the outer harbour, you've got defence. You know, you've got the Osborne precinct.
Okay, yeah.
You've got ASC there. You've got Babcock. You've got BAE with the Hunter program. ASC with the sustain of the Collins. So there's a lot of activity going on there. And so in the future you would have the AUKUS subs. And so you've got that in the Osborne in the outer harbour, and then you have now, you know, you have just 10, 15 minutes away from that. You have West Lakes, you have Tennyson, you have, you know, Henley Beach, you know, you have a semaphore. So you've got a great lifestyle, you know. And so you've got great work, but you've got a great lifestyle. And so my personal...
By that explanation, you're just jumping up the prices in that area. Because you're like,
but you said dream home, you never said realistic dream home.
there now.
But you never said realistic dream home, you know? But no, I'd say my dream home is like, so that it's close proximity to work, but you're not compromising on the lifestyle. So it's close to the beach where you can go like running, you can get great restaurants there. But like I'd say for the dream home, I'd say like 2 stories, a sauna, a sauna there. You know, after a long hot day, you know, just go there, relax. You know,
Yeah.
You want to, after a long hot day, you want to go to a sauna?
not hot, a long, exhaustive, tiring day where you just want to sit and relax. You know.
Yeah.
I'd say 2 stories. The balcony view like has to be like, you know, like aligned with, you know, where the sunset is, so you can, you know, just have a nice tea, have the missus right beside you, you know.
There you go.
What else? A piano, I'd say. A really nice piano.
Oh wow.
Learn piano, but
Do
know how to play piano?
you play?
no, I'm taking lessons.
Okay.
I'm taking lessons, so.
I've never been able to keep playing an
Because-
instrument. I've tried so many different instruments. And
But the
like,
thing again, it goes to that point, right? Like it goes to the point that, you know, there is a time delay between, you know, the input and the output. You know? It's not linear. That's the thing. If it was linear, anyone would do anything, right?
Yes.
Like that you know, it's not a one-to-one.
yeah.
There is a time delay. So if you're gonna learn guitar, piano, it's probably like maybe months and months and months before you see results. It's like, you know, going to the gym. You know, going to the gym. You want to see results instantaneously.
Correct.
And so you have to be willing and temper your expectations to the point that, okay, it's after, you know, a period of while that you actually see results. You know,
Delayed gratification.
delayed gratification,
Yeah.
and that's the key to, you know, especially now in the world that we're in. You know, bite-size everything. You know, news. You know, everything. You know, clips. It's instant gratification, and so if you can overcome that,
I think
then that will help you a lot.
that's so important. I wish my, like, when I was growing up, my dad really wanted me to play piano.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
like
okay.
he brought me to lessons for like a year.
So do you have a piano now?
No, I don't know how to play piano.
No. Do you have a piano at home?
No, I mean I used to have a keyboard. But,
Okay.
But like, he paid for a year's worth of lessons. And I
At
went
school was
there.
this?
No, this is like outside of school. But this is
so-
while I was in high school.
Oh wow!
And like, but like I didn't want to be there. And so like, I learned for a year. Yeah, I learned how to do it, but then I just forgot. I stopped going.
wow.
But then like, I really wished those two things, music and sport. Like I wish they pushed
Exactly. Yeah.
because like they were all about. I mean, obviously they were immigrants. They came here. All they cared about was like
Wow.
academia, like study,
And
do
I
it on
think,
exams.
and I think we all have that in common in that, like,
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
In me-
You have
in
the
me-
same
in-
experience?
same experiences, because when we first come here, like the first like generation that comes in, you know, like to a new country, it's all about survival. You know, you don't have time to become a musician, like, because that's not going to
No.
feed you, right?
No, but
so
it's what it teaches you though. It's not, you don't play
It's an
piano.
experience.
Yeah,
But-
it's a first, not an experience. I think it's like you don't learn piano or guitar
Yeah.
so that you become a musician.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm a parent, I'm getting my kid to learn
Yeah.
piano or, sorry, a musical instrument or another language or
Yeah.
something, because it teaches you discipline. It teaches you to not give up on something hard.
For
and
sure.
like that, and like I talked to my parents recently about this, and they agreed with me. They were like, one of their biggest regrets is that they didn't get me and my sister to join a sporting club when we were in primary school, because it's like that's really hard, and also being part of a team sport teaches you a lot of communication skills.
Oh, for sure.
And like it's invaluable. You can't teach it in school. It's just like we just missed out. I mean, I got that back later, but there was definitely a setback compared to people that did do that.
Yeah.
And like some of the it's just-
No, I totally agree, but like, especially from my, because maybe your parents came a while back, but mine's like been like about 20 years, so it's fairly recent. You know?
Yeah.
And I can remember when we came here, it was about survival, you know. So these things teach you great things, you know. First of all, the immigrants, they don't really, you know, immigrant families, you know, we weren't immigrants, we were refugees, you know. So it's different, you know.
So that's different from me. Yeah.
It's somewhat different, yeah. But our main goal was to survive, you know. And so these things they didn't know it, like the benefits of these, you know. And now they do look back, they're like, oh, maybe we should have. But at that time, at that specific time, it was all about survival. Okay, how do we feed ourselves? Okay, we need to get a home, you know, where does this money come from? So it was savings. You know, let's take the kids to work so that they can, you know, help us and whatnot. So it's all about survival. It's you get to a state of luxury where you have the privilege of then sending your kids to piano, sporting and whatnot. But you don't get there if the kids are going hungry.
Yeah.
They do, you know, once is about being educated on the topic so that, you know, they know the benefits. Like, for example, I would send my kids if I do in the future and send them to piano and whatnot, because I'm in a state, for example, like economically where I can, but I know the benefits on top of it, but not when you're surviving. And this goes back to, for example, when you know, why don't developing like third world countries, you know, do science and, you know, poetry and whatnot, because the economy is like, it's not, they're not in a stage, it's a privilege more so. For example, people that study science, art, music, the country needs to be in a state of privilege in order to be able to accommodate those luxuries. These are luxuries.
It's true. Like even in Adelaide, like when I was talking to Say Sport and to Reg about some of the stuff that DEGSA was doing with high schools, almost every person I talked to, the first thing they said was, right now we have this perception that engineering and science is like the rich white kids thing, right? And it's like, but we want to change that. But like, even in a developed country like Adelaide, it's like, oh, you know, you have to go to these schools and you have to go to in these neighborhoods to be more successful in engineering, be more successful because it's all about connections. Like, this is the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, even in Adelaide's a developed country, but so like, it's absolutely true. We got to break that. Like, it is accessible to everyone. So and look how we turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, did you go to the Catholic school?
I did.
Private school?
I guess. No, actually, I went to ASMS and that was public school.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know definitely people, and we have this friend in common, Aliazar. Like, he went to, because him and I went to the same primary school in Para Hills, primary. But then he, you know, went to the next, to the high school that was adjacent to that primary school. Whereas I went to a private school, and, you know, 5-6 years later, we ended up in the same university, and we graduated at the same time, and we got the same honors and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he's got a job at, you know, at an engineering company, and so do I. And so it's not about there are certainly barriers that limit your ability and whatnot, but it's ultimately there are barriers there. But if the student is relentless and ambitious and hardworking, then they can get there regardless of connections and whatnot.
So I'm going to challenge you here. So you're talking, you somehow criticized your parents. Indirectly.
Oh, not necessarily.
Indirectly.
Sure.
But tell the story that it could have been better. What is your ideal scenario would be?
Like parenting style, you mean?
Parenting style, or what you're having, because I'm going to put you in a spot in 10 years' time when you have children.
Well,
we're going to play this back.
Well, I was going to say that, just before you said that, I was going to say that I think the big reason why Ali and you went to primary school same, but different high schools and ended up in the same spot, I don't think that's actually, I think the credit for that goes to your parents, not for the student. I think if you have the right parents, it doesn't matter where you go. I genuinely think the power of parents in this country is
second to none.
Like it's nothing.
For sure.
It's like kids are given too much independence before they're able to handle that independence. And like parents are supposed to guide you. Like it's so funny. You go out into industry and you start working, and there's such a huge push of mentorship and leadership and like how you have to get the right people to guide your career. But like when you look at children and parents, it's nothing. Yeah. It's like if you had the same amount of mentorship that you do in your career progression as you did when you were growing up, because it would turn out very differently.
No, for sure.
So with the parenting, I'm very grateful for.
So sorry, just go back to that. So that's a very interesting point. So look, I'm not trying to impose my ideas because I'm just listening. I have similar sort of a story, but maybe slightly different. So you disagreeing that gaining that freedom at the early age, correct?
It's not about gaining freedom. It's about my parents tried the best that they could with the resources they had. You know, we want refugees, but we were still migrants. Yeah. Parents had limited knowledge of English. They literally tried their best with what they had. And it's not about, and I think a lot of the reasons I have a lot of skills and I've succeeded is because they have taught me discipline and the value of patience. And I didn't always get what I wanted. And like, I had a difficult childhood, but in a good way. At the time I didn't value it, but they had to say no to me a lot. And it's like, it's skills like that I think a lot of parents now don't have. Yeah. I think the kids are in control, not the parents.
Pretty much,
no, for sure.
Because I don't know where that comes. Like, is that a cultural thing? Like,
I think it is a cultural shift.
If all these cultural parents or immigrant parents get the same outcome, there has to be some kind of common denominator there. It's like
I think you know, the reason why it's changed now, and what that changes is that, you know, like you said, you know, kids have more control and whatnot. I think it comes back to the economy. You know, you've got home prices, you've got mortgages that are in excess. Like, for example, the average home I think in Adelaide is about $700,000. Yeah. So because people have and incomes are not that significant, you know, relative to the home prices, is that you need more, like both of the couple, you know, now working, and they're working 9 hours a day. And so when they come home, they're tired and whatnot, you know. Traditionally, it was, you know, the mum, you know, who takes care of the household, and the dad, you know, earning an income, you know. Whereas now it's like both of them are involved because economic, you know, circumstances have, you know, forced that onto them. And so who teaches the kids when the parents are tired? It's the iPads, the iPhones, it's the Baby Sharks, the YouTube and whatnot. And so they're, because the parents are tired, they don't have as much energy because, you know, everyone has a finite amount of energy. So they don't have enough energy in order to dedicate to the kids as our migrants, refugee parents did. And it's not even that. Even now, migrants and refugee families face the same problems. They have the same economic problems, and the iPads are the solution to that.
I think look, I'll share my experience, and I think I have a hunch that you're going to have the same. Yeah. One of the big differences from personally growing up here, and this is an Indian thing, is that we are a very community-focused culture, right? And so, like you said, like both my parents worked a lot when I was younger. And so you're right, they didn't always have the time, right? But every weekend, there was something going on in the community. And you weren't raised only by your parents. You were also raised by your community, your
indirectly,
indirectly, your influence of the family friends, right? And it's like that also influenced you and motivated you to make decisions in life and live a certain way. And like there was always someone to look up to, you know, and like that's why. But they don't have that here. That's a very immigrant thing, right?
But then it's like you're talking about the data set, right? You're talking about a subset of a larger subset of a larger whole, right? And so if you look at the general population, that's, you know, with the iPad, all of that's happening. But then within that, you've got communities that are, you know, that are boundly, you know, knit together, and so they have this kind of internal competition that then, you know, pushes them a little bit further.
Absolutely.
But then it's like that doesn't fall out, like in the wider section.
I mean, you can't like.
So you have you can think of internal and external factors, and so within communities and within families and whatnot, but that the other whole set doesn't.
What you
have.
guys are talking about is somehow it's practiced here as well. So I know people who go to church, for instance. Okay, they're really related to the church, and they have their own communities.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why Adelaide is a city of churches. These churches are not just religious centers; they're actually community centers.
Yes,
people get connected through these things.
Absolutely.
I actually know people who went to church to actually find friends, but they're not necessarily, very
Christian. Yeah, sure.
Very. I mean, they're Christians, but they're not really sort of like
religious.
Religious in a sense. They believe in Christianity, but they're very laid back. So, but my understanding is you value these things, right? So, what do you think we went off? I mean, why we are going away from these values?
I mean, we do have a loneliness epidemic. I know I keep hearing that. Do you know what causes that?
Loneliness? No.
That's I don't know.
Being lonely?
No, I mean there's a loneliness epidemic. Like
there is a loneliness.
We have
epidemic,
highest levels of loneliness.
And apparently it's more dangerous than being lonely. It's equivalent of smoking 70 cigarettes a day or something like that.
That's crazy.
It's the damage that actually causes that.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Having said that, I've been alone for the last
God
knows how many years. No, it's fine. I think I've embraced it somehow, but man, it's difficult. But there isn't. But
that's why you want to hang out every Friday.
Oh, not with my computer. No, aside, jokes aside, why the rest of society, with having all of that values, are going away from it, and you're facing a loneliness issue. And loneliness, by the way, doesn't mean that you can still be communicating with other people, but you're still feeling lonely.
Of course. Yeah.
Even though I'm alone, but I don't feel lonely.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with a lot of things. But the loneliness issue is about, even though people are connecting or look like connected, but they're not really connected.
Yeah. It also, in my opinion, it starts with like mindset, And what is loneliness? Is there one? Is it just the fact that you're lonely? But what? There are multiple facets to it, And so, it's the aggregate of those individual factors that then contribute to loneliness. That each have their own individual causes, For example, if you're with someone and you're using, for example, social media and whatnot, and social media then projects so much, media, advertisements and whatnot, then even if you're with that person but social media and society, that is, or the messaging that comes from society through social media says that, this is this person, you should be with this person and how they should look like, and they should have this much amount of money and all of these things, And so that's one contributing factor that causes, that particular thing. But it can be so many other things that, contributes to loneliness. So when we're talking about loneliness, in my opinion, it's multifaceted. Nothing in life is binary. It's neither, ones or zeros or dark or, dark or light. There's multiple factors to it with multiple reasons, and you can't consider it just in isolation.
Yeah.
You have to consider the whole.
I saw this video recently of this woman she was originally from Europe or some Middle Eastern
country. Was it a TED Talk or?
No. This was just her sharing a personal story. But it was very relatable, and I can definitely relate to it. And so she moved from a country where it was very community focused, and there was no loneliness because everyone knew each other. And she moved to Australia specifically. She was talking about this, and she was like, "It's so strange. Nobody has close friends here. Everyone's just an acquaintance." And then she was like, "It's so difficult to keep a friendship because you have to book a meeting 2 weeks ahead of time to catch up for half an hour for a brunch or a coffee, and this is what friendships are." Right. It's even just genuinely even just setting this up,
takes a bit of effort.
Being on here Friday every week, if I went into another country where it was more community focused, oh, do you want to hang out every Friday? Yeah, let's do it. But then here it's like so many commitments to manage and like I don't know why it's like that here.
It's funny, even US is not like that.
No, it's not. Australia is a bit
US is like,
strange
you know,
on that.
I can talk to people and they're like very sort of like the relationships are very close. You know,
Yes.
people are I don't want to compare it and say they're friendly or here.
No,
or
but I totally understand.
Well, it's just the setup is. It seems like the setup is easier.
Yeah. For some reason.
Somehow, it is very strange.
It's an Australian city thing because even in country Australia, people are so friendly. Like I've heard stories of people that move from country to here and they're like,
absolutely.
I can't live in the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't talk to anyone. Everyone just ignores you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I have had the same experience. So when I first came here, I was my housemate was originally from somewhere from the country, and then also the people that I could actually communicate were people from the country, and it was just very easy to get on with.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. A lot of these people have been actually overseas and seeing the world, you know, and you could actually talk and communicate and all of that. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't know, somehow the setup of the cities are
very strange.
It's just strange that, you know, people are just...
I think maybe a causal factor of this is the amount of responsibilities you have, you know. If you talk about like the places where we have, you know, those kind of strong bonds and whatnot, like communities, is where, you know, first of all, you're a child, you know, so you have all of these connections and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
The other one is like the people there are, like, from my experience, back when I was in Pakistan, you know, as a refugee there, no one had any jobs or whatever, you know. The females, you know, had nothing to do except, you know, the house chores and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was only the guys that were out at work, you know, and so you had like majority of the family, the mum, the kids, you know, hanging around because they had nothing else to do.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, besides after finishing the house chores and whatnot. Whereas here, you have so much. You've got a job. You know, you've got gym. You've got this. You've got so many preoccupations. You know, you've got so many. I wouldn't say distractions, but things to do. That then it's like you know, because we can't just at 12 o'clock do a podcast because we're at work. You know, you've got something else going on. You've got a presentation and so forth. It's like I think it's the amount of responsibilities that you have that you need to have in order to.
Do you though? Because are we taking life a bit too seriously here? Like, you know, it's like life goes by very quickly. Yeah. This year has gone by so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yes, you have a lot of responsibilities. You got to go to the gym and stuff, but it's moments like these that you remember.
Yeah.
You know.
Core memories. Yeah.